Hey CMS, today we're going to solve two-step equations with grouping symbols. So, two-step equations with grouping symbols are in the form P times a quantity x plus q equals r. So here we have an outside factor being multiplied by a quantity inside parentheses. These equations have an expression inside of the parentheses. Here are the steps to solve two-step equations with grouping symbols. The first step is to divide by the outside number on both sides of the equation. So we're going to undo that multiplication. Step 2 is we're going to solve the one-step equation inside the parentheses. So let's get started with some examples. Problem 1, solve 3 times a quantity x plus 5 equals 45. So our first step is to divide by that outside number 3. That's the number being multiplied. So 3 divided by 3 makes 1. I'm left with x plus 5 equaling, and 45 divided by 3 is 15. So now I'm just left with a one-step equation, x plus 5 equals 15. So the opposite of this plus 5 is to subtract 5 on both sides. Now we're left with x equaling 10. So our answer is 10. Here's another example. 5 times the quantity n minus 2 equals negative 30. Our first step again, divide by that number on the outside. So divide by 5, divide by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I'm left with n minus 2 equaling negative 6. Now remember, it's negative 6 because I'm dividing two different signs. One was negative, one was positive. Now I'm going to solve this n minus 2 equals negative 6. So the opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. And so now I'm left with n equaling negative 4. Why is it negative 4? Well, remember, if we add two different signs, we subtract the values. 6 minus 2 is 4, and we take the sign of the bigger absolute value, which was negative. Okay, let's move on. This example is a little tricky because it has a fraction as the coefficient, or the fraction as the outside number. Now, if you remember from previous lessons, if we have a fraction that's being multiplied, we have to multiply by the reciprocal, because multiplying by the reciprocal is the same thing as dividing in a fraction. So 2 over 3 times 3 over 2 makes 1. So we're left with n plus 6. Now, 10 over 1 times 3 over 2 is 30 over 2, or 15. So now I'm just going to solve this equation, n plus 6 equals 15. And I'm going to do that by subtracting 6, the opposite operation. So now n is going to equal 9. Okay, I've got one more example. Solve 0.2 times a quantity c minus 3 equals negative 10. Now, if your coefficient is a decimal, you treat it just like a whole number. We're going to divide by 0.2. Divide by 0.2. So, when I divide this out, I get this. And then I get c minus 3 equals negative 50. Now, again, if I divide two numbers with different signs, it's negative. So now all I have to do is solve this equation. C minus 3 equals negative 50. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. Okay. Now our answer is C equals negative 47. How did we get negative 47? Remember, we're adding two different signs. If you have two different signs, you subtract them, and you keep the sign of the bigger absolute value. So that was negative. All right, so I hope that video was helpful. I hope you guys have a great day. And if anything, please get in contact with me. I can help you in any way I can. Have a good day, guys.